Hi everybody, I am back and I am going to show you how to do Phobetor for Falsetto Fantasy. Yesterday I showed you how to do Countess Sonica, and as you can see I am not trying to go for the high scores, I'm just trying to get runs that are super smooth and as doable as possible with as accessible relics as possible, so nothing that is crazy. So I don't think necessarily that I am going to go through every part of what Phobetor does. Actually no, let's do that first. Let's do that just the same way that we did with Sonica, but with less of a in-depth intro to it. So, the main thing that you need to know is that Phobetor is affected by sleep, and you need to put him to sleep as often as you possibly can. When it is afflicted with sleep and diseased, he takes the most damage. And so therefore, any Esper that can inflict sleep and diseased are really, really important. You will also need to have Espers that can manipulate AP, and damage amplification and survivability is also important. It is somewhat similar to Sonica in that regard, but still different, because instead of a high def Esper in the front, you need someone that can inflict sleep, and you need your turns to work really well. Phobetor in Falsetto Fantasy is much more demanding than in Sentinel Hunt. I don't know exactly how or why or what the difference is. All I know is that he is much more difficult. So I have made, I think, a few changes, but not that many. I also made a video on how to do Sentinel Hunt, so if you need information on that, you can go to that video. Anyway, let's go through the relics, and then we can go through the run itself. So, this is my build for Zora. As you can see, this is quite basic. The attack is quite low, the speed is not fast. I'm just making sure that she can crit, and that's pretty much it. The main reason why I have her on my first team is because she has a crazy attack lead, which really comes in handy. This guy, granted I did give him quite a bit of attack, but that's just because that's how my relics rolled. As you can see, I don't have flawless and everything, and so this should be quite achievable for most people. I have him scaled up for his abilities. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then I have my Ophelia built like that. And as you can see, speed on my attackers is not crazy. You want the most speed to go into your supports. So the person that inflicts sleep, you want them to be really fast, and the people that do AP and survivability and stuff like that, you want those to be quite fast too. As you can see, I have a severe lack of healers here, and the reason for that is because if Phobetor doesn't really go that often, he can't really damage you. So that's my philosophy, and it's been working quite well for me so far. What's important though is if you do want to do that, you need your AP and sleepers to be really on point, because otherwise you're just gonna die, and you don't want that, obviously. So here we go through all of the builds. Meredith is one of those amazing Espers that do heal up the team tremendously, but more importantly, she does do a lot of damage, like surprisingly. And again, this is my sleeper. So this is how I have put them together, okay? So for my third team, I have her as a sleeper, but I could have used anyone that inflicts sleep. Same with this one and Celine. They all can inflict sleep. Then you have the AP and controllers, which are Aira, Apollo, and which she just speeds up. And then I have my deceased inflicting people, which are these guys and Zora. And then it's just down to having an Esper that has a good lead and an Esper that can do enough damage. And this is how you build your teams, okay? It's very straightforward, but you do need to get the timing somewhat right. So, let's... but yeah, I'm just going to run from here because I don't really feel like spending diamonds anymore. So I'll just show you this run, and I will guide you through what's going on so that you can get a proper understanding of how to build your characters and all of that fun stuff. If only it would load. Okay, so right away we start with sleep and AP down. Sander also has that AP down, which is really good. Then diseased comes in and deaf down. So now we're instantly in a good place. This is exactly how you want it to be. Then you get your speed up, and you just speed up again, and you just keep this going. The AP absorption is super handy to have, but the most important part is this constant sleep and AP down that Celine does, and she's great at it. Coupled with Sander is just such a powerhouse, and it just makes sure that Phobetor goes as seldom as is possible, you know? Deaf down and extra debuffs and stuff like that are super good. Whenever he does wake up and take a turn, then you get a little bit of extra damage in there, so that's great. But having deaf down constantly on top of having the diseased is a really nice way to get in all of those extra points if you're trying to chase the high numbers. That's the way to go about it. And that's how I got all of my high scores in Sentinel and stuff like that. But again, this is just to show you a smooth run with like low maintenance kind of relics and without XP, obviously. I feel like anytime that someone uses one of those really amazing Espers, it's just unachievable. If you don't have her, that is. Okay, so he goes here, but that's not the end of the world because we have instantly some AP down, we have the Dispel, and we're good to go. And that's also really important. The times that he does go, he does add a lot of buffs onto you. I mean debuffs. And they can all stack up if you don't have a healer. I'm gonna move myself for a moment here so that you can see the amount of turns that are left. There's very few turns, honestly, that you are allowed to take per team. So it doesn't really matter if your health is a little bit, you know, up and down and whatever. As long as you're mostly within the last 10, you're quite good to go. It doesn't really matter all that much, in my experience. And so that's, you know, that's perfectly fine. I brought Leon into this just because I was feeling lazy, and she's a very good AP person and also gives a lot of extra shields and stuff. You could use Uday, you could use a lot of people. You could probably also just get away with not having any sort of heal at all if you're just, you know, getting those sleeps and debuffs on him often enough. But I just wanted something that felt really smooth and that I can just blitz every time and not have to worry. So I did add her. Quality of life, you know? All adds up. I will say that, by the way, Tever is a total cheat. But the reason why I brought him into it is because I have that follow-up relic set on him. And it is so nice. It does so much extra damage. I tried that with Chloe, and it actually worked just as well. She did like 200,000 on her ultimate on the follow-ups, and she did more damage than Tever did. But I stopped that run because the numbers started to add up quite a bit, and I was feeling like it maybe wasn't quite it wasn't really going to be showcasing like, you know, low quality relics and stuff like that. So yeah, but just so that you're aware, like, Tever is not necessary in the second on the second team whatsoever. I just put him in there because I had the build with the relics and I was feeling lazy. What I have seen though is that Phobetor on Falsetto Fantasy seems to be like, he has a higher rate at which he does not go to sleep, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like he doesn't go to sleep nearly as often as Phobetor in Sentinel Hunt. He's a little bit closer to the Phobetor of the tower. Although I feel like the tower one is probably the easiest to put to sleep and to keep sleeping. This one just wakes up a lot. Regardless of the speed downs and the AP downs and stuff like that, I just feel like he's much more prone to just not going to sleep and also waking up faster. I don't know if that's true or not. People that do number crunching and stuff would probably be much better at explaining it than I am. But yeah. So as you can see, my second team is basically dead at 15 turns left. And so if you don't have really good relics, I feel like this is quite, like, it's a good example of what could happen, right? But even if you die then, you're still gonna get EX++, which is kind of my entire point of this video, to show that you don't need to have like absolute perfection everywhere for you to still get the EX++ and then all of the rewards from it. So basically here we have my absolute favorite Esper in the game, I think, currently, Hypnose, and her sleep is just amazing. Also, she has Death Down and Poisons for days and all kinds of things, so she's really nice. But you can honestly use any of the Espers that you want. As long as you follow that rule that I said, you know, with the Death Down Esper and the Sleep Esper and the like all of those things, right? If you just follow those, it doesn't really matter what Espers you use as long as they just have those abilities. As you can see, we've lost one person already and 54 turns to go, and this will still give you EX++. So it might seem like a very difficult boss, but he's not too bad if you just get like the main things down. And as you see, also, I'm not always putting him to sleep. I'm not constantly, you know, nothing is perfect with this, which is, again, I think, quite typical of players that are somewhat newer and stuff. They won't have they won't get everything perfect because they don't have the tools for it, right? You won't have all of the Espers or all of the relics or whatever, but this is still achievable. Yeah, so that's like, he is difficult, but you are going to be able to get it done as long as you just follow the rule. If you want to, I can show you a run later where I actually do score really high. If you're interested in that, like, do give me a comment, say something, and I will do that. My teams are absolutely perfectly capable of getting much higher scores, but if you want a guide on how to do that, like, without XP, let me know, and I'll see what I can whip up for you. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, ask away. I will answer the comments. If you are lacking an Esper and you know, you would like to know what you can substitute it with and whatever, let me know. I'll help as long as I can and like to the best of my ability. Okay, so that's it, and I hope you have a good week. And I'll probably make a Star-Lord one as well. So if you're having issues with that, keep a lookout for that. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Have a good day and enjoy your time. Bye.